Hi everyone, once again this is constructionwizardtv and you are welcome to this channel. In this video we are coming to look at how to start your building from start to finish. And so we'll look at the land acquisition, the design phase, the construction phase, and then the closure. And so stay tuned as we bring you this educative video in 2024. This video will guide you from the steps you needed to know to start your own project till finish. Stay tuned. So viewers, it is my belief and hope that by the time you finish watching this video, you get to know all the information you need when you are starting your own project. And I will encourage you to share this video to friends and family. It will be of benefit to them. In this space, there are a lot of things that we do. Sometimes we have no idea, or sometimes you need just information about it. And so this video will help you, guide you through your construction process. Viewers, first of all, we'll start from the land acquisition. If you are fortunate and you have the land already, then you are good to go. But those of us who don't have land, we'll start from the land acquisition. So 2024, you've gotten some money and you want to start your building project. The first thing you think about is getting a legitimate land. And it's very difficult getting a legit land, especially those of us in Accra. If you don't take care, you end up buying from someone who is a scammer, or by the time we realize the land has been sold to a couple of people. So first of all, you need to do the background checks, and in doing the background checks, you first of all need to visit and have first-hand information about the land. So you go to the site, look at the location of the place, look at where the land is sited. Usually if you visit a place and the land, something is being done on the land, you will talk to the one selling to you. You said, oh, the person bought it and he's not interested again, so I'm reselling it. Those things you have to be careful. So first of all, let's look at the checks, the important checks you need to do. So I would suggest, I don't also work for Lands Commission. I'm not also a lawyer, but with experience, first of all, you need to do your checks with the Lands Commission. And even that place, you need to be careful that you are dealing with the right person. So you do your checks with the Land Commission and then check the background, whether the land is in the name of the person you are buying from, or whoever is selling it to you has the authorization from the real owner that you are buying the land from. So this is one of the checks you need to do. Secondly, you also check the area. Is the land sited very well? The water log, all those things you need to check. That's why it is advisable that when you are buying a land, you buy it not in the dry season, but in the wet season. Because in the wet season, the land is exposed to everything, flooding, all those issues will come out in the wet season. And so sometimes in the dry season, you can also buy a land, but be sure that you are on top of the checks that you are doing. And so because if you buy a land and it's in a waterlogged area, you are going to spend a lot of money to treat the land or the soil before you can put up your building. And so if you don't have money, you are a young guy coming up and you buy such land, you end up spending a lot of money to re-engineer the soil, which is going to go against you. So I'll suggest and advise that you do the checks in terms of the land position, the location, waterlog, even access to the land. It's very important. You can't buy a land whereby you don't have access to the land. So please, you also check access to the land. Accessibility is very, very, very important. In Ghana here, sometimes if you don't take care, when you finish buying your land and then you wall the place, you are driving through someone's land. When the person comes and starts his or her project, then you find yourself wanting. So these are some of the checks that you do. Again, you also talk to lawyers to do the proper background check for you. The lawyers are able to do all the checks properly in terms of the law aspect of it. You do it, and then you can also ask people living in the area. When you're going to buy a land, the first thing you do is that the people living in the area, because they are there, they see everything. You ask them, you talk to them, and they'll be able to give you information about the land or the piece of land you want to buy. For all you know, the land has been sold to a lot of people. So ask people around, talk to them. So viewers, make sure that you are always dealing with the right person when it comes to the purchase or acquisition of a land. It's very important. You can also talk to a land surveyor or an architect or a civil engineer. They will all help you in making a good decision. Now let us move to the design phase. In the design phase, I mean, you've now gotten your land, and so you want to tell the architect what you want to what type of building or design that you want the architect to do for you. Please, in this space, make sure you're talking to the right person. Don't just see someone on the street who has promised you to do a nice design for you. Please talk to the expert. And I always advise this: talk to the expert. Architects will tell you that, okay, if I position the building in this way, this is what will happen. If I do this, this is what will happen. If I put a window here, this is what will happen. So in the design space, please, I would advise you to talk to an expert, proper architect who will be able to advise you on your choices. Don't allow for excesses. So make sure that you are dealing with the right person. If you need structural drawing, the architect will let you know that you need a structural design based on what you have proposed. Please make sure that your building or your house is energy efficient. And let me explain further. You wouldn't want to put up a building or a house where when you finish, you are paying a lot of bills on energy. So you need to, every time, air conditioning has to be on, light would have to be on. Please, when you talk to the expert, and I mean architect, all these things will be ironed out in the design phase, so that you know that, okay, here there should be a window here there should be a natural light here, so that you don't put up light here. This room without air conditioning should be able to survive, so that your building will becomes energy efficient. And it's very important, because you realize that if you don't take care, you pay a lot of bills, because your building is designed in a certain way. Every time the room needs to be cool, and so it needs to be powered, either air conditioning or fan, which also in a long run goes to increase your bills. So you need to be careful. At most, every time your AC should be off. Maybe in the severe weather, then you can say that, okay, this time I need air conditioning. And these are critical things when you are designing, or when an architect is doing a design for you. You ask questions about it, and it really helps. Now we are done with the design space. At least now we know what we do. The designs are out. The next thing to do is to get your documentations. You get your documentation, so you go to the various assemblies or your assembly where your property is sited or located. You go to the assembly, acquire all the necessary documentation to start a project. Don't fall for that. In Ghana we say, go and start. When they come, you give them something. Please do the proper thing, so that, I mean, your property will not be demolished. Go to the assembly, go and get all the permits that you need to get before you start your building. So the next thing to do is to get a quantity surveyor to quantify the cost of your building. It is very important. Oftentimes we start a project without knowing the cost. Sometimes we also say that, the cost will scare us. Please, it is better to know how much you're going to spend on your project than not knowing it. Because if you don't know, you will end up spending unnecessarily. But if you know, you are going to be limited by your expenditure. You know that, okay, I need to spend 1,000 cedis in my foundation. I need to spend 200 cedis in my superstructure, and it is going to guide you, because that will be, at that time, that will be your Bible. The quantity surveyor will come out with bills of quantities, and in that bills of quantities, that's what is going to guide you when you are building. And so you don't end up spending anyhow. You know that, okay, my foundation, I need 10 bags of cement, I need this. It guides you. And so it's very important to get quantities before you start your building process. So now you have your permit, you have your building bill of quantities, you have your all the necessary documents that you need. You also have your designs. Now the next thing is to, now you have your contractor, everything is set. You have to start buying your materials, and the purchase of the material is also key. Don't buy inferior materials. Go to the market, get proper materials to start building. Every material that you are buying, make sure you are getting the original or the proper material. Don't go and buy the cheap ones to do your building. You put yourself in trouble. After buying your material, the next thing you do is the actual construction. From foundation, after digging your foundation, you make sure the checks, everything is done. Please, every time you go to site and you are not okay with something, certain things, ask your rep or ask your contractor. Make sure that he is doing the right thing. Mind you, your contractor will finish his work and go to wherever he came from, but you are going to live in that house for the rest of your life. So make sure you are getting things done right way. So every time you go to your site and there are things you don't understand, talk to your contractor, ask questions, ask most important questions for him to explain and for you to be convinced that yes, at this stage you can proceed, so that they don't end up doing a lot of mistakes, which will also incur another cost. If they do mistake and they need to demolish, it's a cost, labor, material. So please make sure all these checks. If you are not competent or you are not an expert in that area, you can get your project manager to do that for you. So your project manager will now supervise the contractor that you've selected. And this is what we don't do, but that is the best practice. You, the client, you have no knowledge in construction, you have no knowledge in building. You have a contractor who comes to you with this. You need to get someone who will be able to explain these things to you and act as an intermediary for you. So he's your project manager and he will take you through everything concerning your project for you. And so you will relax, and then if there are times you need to release money, you release the money. But make sure that your project manager is on top and he's checking the contractor very well. It's very important. If you also have knowledge about building and you want to do it yourself, that's fine. But make sure that the right things are done at the right time. It is your money that you are spending. So make sure the right things are done at the right time. After foundation, fill, they cast the oversight concrete. Now you go to the superstructure, you do your block, and then if it's a storyboarding, you are now coming to do your first floor slab. That's another area that you need to be careful, because at that level, you are spending a lot of money for formwork, for reinforcement, for concrete. So make sure that they are doing the right thing. And then after that, the other phase, so your foundation is a milestone. After doing your foundation and coming up to ground level, it's your milestone. The other milestone is also getting to or casting the first floor slab. That is, if you're doing a storyboarding, that's another milestone, because if you're able to finish ground floor, finish first floor, you've achieved enough that you need to celebrate yourself. And then the third milestone is when you're able to put up your roof. So after the first floor, they'll lay the blocks, get to the lintel, do the roof, and then you've also achieved another milestone. And then after that milestone, the next thing is to prepare for finish, because you've now done the skeletal work of your home or your building. The next thing is to prepare for the finishes. Okay, so viewers, before we continue with the finishes, have you subscribed to the channel? If you've not done so, I will urge you to subscribe to the channel Construction Wizard, share with friends, which will also in a long way benefit them. You can also follow us on Facebook, Construction Wizard TV, on TikTok, Construction Wizard TV. Share, subscribe to the channel so that each time we release video, you'll be the first person to receive, and get all our educative videos in construction management and in the built environment. So now we are at the finishing stage, and at this stage you need a lot of money. You need a lot of money. So when you get to that stage, whatever you are doing is the final. And in the finishing stage, things that you are going to consider are plastering. You are going to look at ceiling works. You are going to look at tiling. You are going to look at painting. You are looking at sanitaries, electrical fittings, and what have you. So in this level, at this stage, you need to make sure that every material that you buy is of a certain quality, is of a standard. You need to make sure, because whatever you do now, that is the final, that is the outcome of your building. So if it's tiling or tiles that you are buying, make sure you are buying the proper tiles, a tile that can last longer. If it's a painting that you are buying, make sure that you are buying proper paint. Plastering, make sure that you are getting good masons to do your plastering for you. They will not finish your plastering and your levels are undulating. At this level, everything that you are doing, make sure you are getting it right the first time. There's no do it again, because in each time you do it again, it costs. And so try as much as you can and avoid, oh, let's do it again, oh, I don't like. And let me also advise you, young guys coming up, sometimes you start a building, oh, your building is going, and then you visit a friend and you see something there, you want to have the same thing in your house. At that stage, let us try and avoid, each time you see something, you want it done at your place. Each time you see something, you want changes in your design to reflect what you saw. When you do that, you end up spending more. Your project duration also keep long, and your project, you're not completing your project, it means that you are spending more money. So please, let us try and have time. Please let us avoid that. If you see something that is nice, stick to what you have, stick to your plan, because each time you change, like I said, it's a cost. So please stick to your plan. Make sure that the materials that you are buying are standard. If it is electrical cable that you are buying, make sure it's of standard, because if you don't buy the proper electrical cable, you end up getting issues with your electrical gadget and what have you. So make sure you are getting them the right material, sanitaries, WC, water closet, everything. Make sure it's right and it's of a certain quality. And like I mentioned, finishes takes time and it's also money. So maybe what you do is that, okay, now I have money to buy my electrical fittings. You buy all the electrical fittings and then you start. Don't go and buy this tomorrow, you go and buy the next day, you go and buy. By the time you go the third day, the ones that you bought, they don't have them again. Now you need to buy a different brand or you need to buy a different type, and then it makes your house so I don't know the word to describe it. It makes your house some way. Make sure that if it's light that you are going to buy today, you've prepared them, you're going to buy light, you buy all your light that you need. If it is switch or socket you're going to buy, you buy all the switch or you buy all the socket, and it really helps. It really helps. So you prepare before you buy whatever you want to buy, so that you don't end up buying them in pieces. So viewers, I think at this point, as a young guy coming up, we've captured all the processes that you need to go through before you can put up your building or your house. Let me quickly run through. So first of all, you need to get a land. You need to purchase a land, and I mentioned that make sure you're buying the right land, you're buying from the right source. After buying your land, you do your design, you let an architect do your design for you, and at that stage you have to consult engineers, consult architects, consult land surveyors, and make sure that you are doing the right thing. After this design stage, you get to the preparation documentation, you go to the assembly, you get all your documents, you get your bill of quantities, you get your contractor, and then now the actual construction. You make sure that you procure the right contractor to do your work for you. If you are not too sure, if you don't have any knowledge in building, you get a project manager to supervise your project for you, because your project manager is going to supervise the contractor you selected, and it will really help you. It will really help you. So these are the stages. After you're getting your contractor, now the construction itself, when you visit site and you're not convinced about certain things, you ask questions and let them explain to you for you to be convinced before they proceed. And then finishing stages to make sure that you get all your materials before you start. So I give an example, like if you are buying bulbs, make sure you bought all your bulbs before. So prepare. Today I'm going to buy bulbs, you buy all the bulbs. Today I'm going to buy switch, you buy all the switch. Today I'm going to buy water closet, you buy all the water closets. Buy them in that phases. Don't go and buy today, you buy one, tomorrow you buy one. If you not, you will end up having different brands of finishes at your home. Finishes, like I said, is the final part of your design. That is what people come, they will see. When everybody enter your house, that's what they are going to see. So make sure that you are doing the right thing. If it's a paint that you are getting, make sure you are getting the right paint. So viewers, we are at the closing stage of your project, and at this stage, your building has been completed. Before it is handed over to you, or because you take possession of your property, you need to go and do what we call snags. And the snags, you go around and check everything And then if you have issues with certain things that has to be corrected, they do it before it is handed over to you. So you go around, you take and you check windows, you check whether the pipe are flowing, you check the lights, you on the light to check them, you check whether there are cracks, you check whether the painting has covered. You do all those checks, and that is what we call snags. So you check all these things and make sure that if there are certain work that has to be rectified, it is rectified before you take possession of your property. And then you sign against it that yes, I'm satisfied that everything has been done according to standard, and then it is handed over to you. If you need to pay the contractor and your project manager some money, you pay them off, and then you are good to go. Thank you for watching, and in subsequent days we'll come out with more videos. If you have any question, you can drop it in the comment box, and then let me also know the stage or where you've gotten to, if you've started your project, where you've gotten to. And I also encourage you that if you've started your project and maybe financial issues you stop, please don't worry, prepare and go back and start. As the year go by, materials keeps going up, and so don't wait and say, oh, maybe later. The time is now 2024. Fortunately, prices are stable now, so I'll urge you to go back to your project and continue, and I'll see you on the other side. Bye bye.